Garlic has got to be one of the easiest things to grow in the garden. And also, it grows at a time of year when nothing else is growing, and there's just so many good reasons to grow garlic. There are some tips to help the garlic that you grow to be even bigger. And I know that I hate peeling off the little garlic papers when I'm trying to chop garlic for dinner, so bigger cloves of garlic is definitely a win. The first thing we do is separate the cloves of garlic from the head. As you get into the head of garlic, you start to see that some of the cloves are bigger than the other cloves. Some of these cloves of garlic are really huge. I am only going to plant the largest cloves. I'm not going to plant these little ones. I'm going to take these little ones. I will put these in my cupboard or in my fridge to use. You want to leave this paper around the clove intact. This is going to help the clove to not rot in the soil before it starts growing. Think about how regularly you use garlic and how many heads of garlic you might go through in 1 week or 1 month, and use that to plan out the total number of garlic that you would like to plant. The next way we ensure nice big heads of garlic is the proper spacing at planting time. I plant my garlic at least 4 to 6 inches apart. This will give the garlic plenty of space for the heads to plump up and get nice and big. This spacing is important because every once in a while, I'll plant what looks like one of these really large cloves, and unintentionally, I actually plant 2 cloves if there's 2 smaller cloves of garlic that are together wrapped up in paper. And so when that happens, you'll get 2 shoots growing out of the same spot, and both of them will end up very small. So you want to make sure that you've separated them out into individual cloves and that you give each clove enough room to really plump up and get big. So to plant these, I'm going to plant them 2 to 3 inches below ground with the flat side down. That's where the roots are going to come out, and the pointy side facing up. A hori-hori is a perfect tool for this job. To get large heads of garlic, it's important to plant at the right time of year. For most places, that's going to be late fall. This is usually mid-October to mid-November. This is after we've had our first freezes, but before the ground is frozen solid. If you live somewhere that doesn't go through such a harsh winter, like the South, you may not need to plant your garlic so early. You may wait until January or later to plant your garlic, so just check your local extension offices. What's going to happen with a good late fall planting is that there's enough time before the ground freezes for the garlic to start to sprout a little bit, and it will send out some roots, and it will just wake up from its dormancy a little bit. Now, it's important that this small wake-up period happens before it goes fully dormant for the winter. Otherwise, there's a greater chance that the garlic will sit there in the ground and it will simply rot. If you wait until spring planting time to start planting your garlic, what you'll end up with is cloves of garlic that will grow, and they will send out shoots out the top, but they will never form a head of garlic underground. This is still a usable product. It goes by the name of green garlic, and it's delicious for making pestos or for using in stir fries. The last thing I'm doing is covering the garlic with a nice layer of leaf mulch to help the soil retain moisture and to prevent erosion and prevent nutrient loss over the course of the winter. And it's going to create the perfect environment that in the springtime, the garlic will just begin growing nice and early as soon as conditions are perfect. Now, in the spring, there are 2 important jobs to do to ensure large heads of garlic. The first one is, even though we plant our garlic in fertile, healthy soil, garlic stays in the ground a long time, and so it needs an application of fertilizer in the springtime. This is usually done in the month of May, and I like to use a liquid seaweed fertilizer. The next spring job you only have to perform if you are growing hardneck varieties of garlic. Hardneck will grow scapes, and scapes are little flower buds that come out the middle of the plant. They will form small bulblets of garlic on the top. These bulblets are intended to grow new garlic plants, and so a lot of energy is being stored into them. So if you're growing your garlic for nice large heads, you want to trim off those garlic scapes so that all the energy of the plant can go into the main mother head of garlic that you're growing. It's very important to get large heads of garlic, that you harvest garlic at the right time. Now, many people may see their garlic pop up in the spring and think that then it should be ready to harvest in a month or two, but this is not the case. In most areas of the country, garlic is not ready to harvest until at least July. What you want to do to see if your garlic is ready to harvest is watch out for a couple of signs. The first one is watch for the bottom 2 sets of leaves to start to dry up and turn brown. When you see this sign, you can dig down a little bit to look for the next sign. Dig down next to a clove of garlic, pull a test head of garlic out of the ground, and what you're going to look for is ridges or lines between the cloves, showing a definition between the cloves of garlic. And once they start to form these ridges or this definition between, you know that the head of garlic has reached really its peak of growing, and that's about as large as it's going to get. So at that time, then you can harvest. I pull off the outer set of leaves right at the time of harvest because they come off so easily at that point, and then you have beautiful, clean looking garlic. Then the garlic needs to set out in a shady but good air circulation location to cure and dry out. That's a great point of time to sort through your heads of garlic and put aside the largest heads to save for planting next year. This process of only planting the largest heads that you grow and only planting the largest cloves of garlic from each of those heads is going to over time select for those growing properties, and your garlic will grow larger and larger. Now, there's always variations of weather and climate from year to year. It's not always a directly linear progression, but over time you will see larger and larger heads of garlic. Braiding garlic is a great way to store it, to keep it dry, and to keep it all in one place. It's basically just a French braid. I start by tying 3 cloves of garlic together with some twine, and then just go through the pattern of center, right, left, center, right, left. So I place a garlic clove down the center with the stems going down the center, and then I place a garlic head on the right, wrap the stems over the middle to create a new middle. Then place a garlic head on the left and grab all those stems and wrap them over the front to make a new center. Then add a head of garlic straight down the center. Add the garlic head to the right and bring it to the center. Add one to the left and bring it to the center.
Are you videoing this?
Yes.
Are you videoing the... All right, now let's take it inside and trade places with the other one.